microphone.
Yeah, sorry, yes.
Yeah.
Well, we are supposed to hear somebody talking at 12:15, and it is now 12:30. This is David Gigauri, who's supposed to be speaking 15 minutes ago. If he is present, perhaps we could listen to him and eat without showing any disrespect to him whatsoever, but I hope he takes it in good spirit. But that is where we are at present. 15 minutes.
I can't see David, actually. I can't see. David, are you here?
Oh.
No, I don't think he is, because I looked into the. I can't hear. I can't see that.
Are you there, David?
Oh,
David?
so sorry.
No.
Sorry. It is not Gigauri. It is Peter Naismith's time, Tamara.
Oh, I see. Okay, it's been changed.
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
that's lovely.
So
we're very
Peter
happy to have change.
So can we ask whether we can for this particular panel, whether there are any burning questions? Please put up your hand.
I think we don't
raise your
time
hand.
Actually, if we're having
well,
Peter
I just want to see whether they are or they are not, because if they are not, that's the resolution of everything.
I'd love to ask a question to the last speaker, but I will do it in private.
Okay, so raise your hand if you don't have private questions. Okay, I don't think there are any questions, so therefore we can carry on. And Peter Naismith, you are looking at the old version of the program, Tamara, I think. So it's Peter Naismith's time.
Are you there, Peter?
He is.
Okay.
I saw him.
Where are you, Peter?
That sounded very kind of threatening, isn't it? Where are you, Peter?
Yeah. Well, we just follow him. But yes, where is our? Shall I can fill in a bit. Peter Naismith has become a kind of pillar in the structure of Georgian Studies Days. This year, of course, it's very different. In the past, we've had sort of politics and economics or whatever in the morning, and culture in the afternoon, and always have a slideshow from Peter Naismith as part of Georgian Studies Day. We couldn't imagine, even online, not having Peter Naismith's presence, because it is so much part of Georgian Studies Day that we couldn't do without him. He has been a great friend of Georgia. He's put his money where his mouth is by opening the Prospero bookshop in Tbilisi, which has been, I think, a kind of spiritual home for many people to find British books, and has definitely contributed to the international feel in Georgia and in Tbilisi. I think, having said that, are you there now, Peter, so that we can see you and you can join us?
There is a problem, I think, Hannah, there is a problem with Peter's mic because we can't hear him, and there is only option to mute and not unmute for me.
I can see that his mic is unmuted, so it might be a problem at his end. I'm really sorry, I don't know what else to do on that.
Peter, could you rejoin?
Oh dear. Well, if not,
yes, Peter, if you try leaving and rejoining, that seems to have worked for a few people.
And everybody else, you can rush and get something to eat or drink or whatever, or change your seat or stretch your legs while we have this moment of unexpected inactivity.
Amara, when the images are not on, people can do it anyway.
I know, but we are not used to
Without
having
irritation.
silence. I mean, the other thing is to press on with my panel, which is humanities, social science and art. But then I would have to see if Professor Lia Kvavavilashvili is here or not. Are you here?
I'll see whether Lika is here or not. I'll have a look. No, I don't think
she's having problems getting onto the meeting. I've been emailing with her.
She isn't.
Oh, she as well.
She's had problems. Okay, what about Professor Mzia Shanava?
I am here.
Well,
I am here. Should I raise a hand?
I think you're here and we can see you.
I am here.
How do people feel? I think perhaps for the sake of not getting too behind, we should start the next panel and continue, and then at some point have Peter Naismith and hopefully the other speakers. Peter, can somebody email him and ask him whether he could speak at 13:45 or something like that in about 3/4 of an hour? Peter, if you can do that, perhaps we could press on then. Now, I would like to, since this is the panel I'm moderating, I'm very, very honored to introduce Professor Lia Kvavavilashvili because she's at the University of Hertfordshire. Lia's undergraduate and postgraduate degrees in psychology were both obtained in Tbilisi, in Georgia, at the time of the former Soviet Union, at Tbilisi State University and the Uznadze Institute of Psychology, respectively. And can I just add that very exceptionally, the Tbilisi School of Psychology during Soviet times was outstanding and very different to all the rest of the Soviet Union, which was miraculous, but it actually is a fact. In 1993, she came to Britain as a Royal Society postdoctoral fellow to work with Judy Ellis at the University of Wales College of Cardiff. Professor Kvavavilashvili joined the Department of Psychology at the University of Hertfordshire in the capacity of Independent Research Fellow in 1995. Her specialities are centre, she's worked in the psychology and sports, which of course interests me at the moment, learning, memory and thinking, Department of Psychology, Sport and Geography, and School of Life and Medical Sciences. Having said that, perhaps I can pass on to you, whom I can't. Where are you?
Thank you so much. I'm here. Can you hear me?
And I can see you now. Yes, we can hear and see you.
Wonderful.
And if you could try and keep to time, that would be much appreciated.
I'm going to just make a sort of time, put on the timer. And yes, hello everyone. Thank you, Tamara, for a very nice introduction. Although I must say, I'm a cognitive psychologist studying memory, and I have not done any research in sports psychology. It's just the peculiarities of British universities, which seem to put together sometimes departments not entirely aligned with each other, but that's internal matters, and everyone is familiar with that. So I was born in Tbilisi, Georgia, in 1959, and I spent my first 34 years of life in Georgia, and most of it there was spent under communist regime. And I think I have an interesting story to tell. At least my colleagues and some students who I have given this story have found it interesting and informative. And if I hope that there are a lot of young people in the audience who haven't lived through these times, and so for them it will be very interesting, sort of narrative testimony from someone who has experienced this consequences of regime on herself. So I completed my undergraduate degree in Tbilisi State University. Then I embarked on PhD at the Institute of Psychology, Uznadze Institute of Psychology. And the PhD was on a topic which was almost completely under-investigated, and this was prospective memory. So how do we remember to carry out intended actions in the future? For example, how do you remember to make an important phone call today, let's say at 1 p.m.? So what makes you suddenly think, oh, is it the right time and I need to make this phone call? This is called prospective memory and distinguished from retrospective memory, which normally we understand memory as recalling information and events from the past. So when I did this PhD in Georgia, as I said, there was no research on this topic. With great difficulties, I was able to find some existing research among few researchers in Britain and US. And one of them very kindly sent me the whole package from US of his papers, for which I was extremely grateful, because one of the biggest issues for researchers in those times was almost complete absence of literature, foreign literature, literature from Western countries or any other countries on the given topic. So we were studying psychology with textbooks which were written 30 years ago at that time. So very little information from outside world. So when I finished my PhD in 1985, I had a strong feeling that I wanted to write a paper based on my findings and published it abroad, either in British journal or in American journal. The thing, of course, was that inside the library that we had in the academy and the institute, there were pretty much no copies of journals in psychology, except British Journal of Psychology, a couple of copies, and Journal of Experimental Psychology, Learning, Memory and Cognition, which is an American journal. So literally a couple of copies of this journal, that was it. So I could not have chosen any other journals because I didn't even have their addresses and so on. So I decided to publish it in British Journal of Psychology. But this was at the time, the idea was quite wild because nobody published papers in 80s or 70s or 60s abroad. There was this iron curtain between Soviet Union and the rest of the civilized world, and pretty much there was no interaction, very little interaction between researchers. There were, of course, some researchers which were eventually translated and published in English, like Vygotsky and Uznadze, for example, but these were exceptions. So an ordinary researcher, even professor, let's say, would not think publishing their research in a Western journal. That became very obvious when I talked to my father-in-law about it, and he was extremely surprised and shocked. And he said, "Why would you want to publish it in British Journal of Psychology? Go and publish it in Вопросы психологии, which was the Russian journal, psychology journal." And it seemed that that was the highest level of aspiration you could have if you lived in Soviet Union, to publish in Вопросы психологии. For some reason, I disagreed and thought that I should give it a try. So I went to I was told that if you wanted to publish a paper abroad, you had to go to the Academy of Sciences in Georgia and speak to not the main guy, but one below, Deputy Director of Academy, and that this guy would tell me what were the steps that I needed to do to get papers sent out from Soviet Union. So I went to the academy, went to the office of this person. He wasn't there, it was his secretary. And when I told her that I came here to find out what I needed to do to get my paper published abroad, she was also quite shocked. And she said, like, who are you? Like, I was very young, 26, I think, at the time. And he said, don't you know that only professors, most prominent professors and academicians can send their papers abroad? And basically I came home and I was quite upset by this response, because effectively I was nobody, just a junior research worker. And when I told about this to my father, he obviously got very upset. He called his uncle, who was a professor of neurophysiology and also, I think, member of academy, and had said, look what your friend told to my daughter, that basically she can't send her paper outside SSR. And so the uncle called this guy in academy and said, look, there is this young psychologist who wants to publish, and she was turned back by your secretary. And then he said, of course, yeah, let her come. So I went second time, and then he wrote down a long list of things I needed to do to get permission to send out my paper. So the first thing was that the Institute of Psychology board, scientific board, had to assemble and consider my case, the paper I wanted to send out, and give their permission. And once that permission was given, then there was a whole list of things I needed to do. I needed to write like extended abstracts, translated in Russian. I needed to go to several different organizations, have meetings, get signatures from them. One of them was called OVIR. I can't remember now what it stood for, but it's probably familiar to some of you. Then, of course, I had to translate my paper in English, get it in good shape, get it typed. So this whole thing took about 2 weeks, literally non-stop running around and getting signatures and getting everything together. And basically, finally, I got everything in order, and I sent out my paper from post office, and it went out. And in 2 months' time, I received a letter from the editor, action letter, and 3 reviews, which were all very, very complimentary. And one of them said that there must be some real gold in these Georgian mountains. And the paper got published. I had to revise it, obviously, and make it shorter, but it got published in British Journal of Psychology in 1987. And that's how I basically ended up in UK as a Royal Society postdoctoral fellow in a few years' time, because I got invited for the first international conference on memory in Lancaster. And then this lady, Judy Ellis, she contacted me and wanted me to go and present a talk at that conference. She also managed to get for me a travel grant from Royal Society to go to England in 1991. And basically the rest is the history. But I do believe that if I didn't publish that paper in British Journal of Psychology, maybe I wouldn't be here today. So that is my story.
That is terribly moving and wonderfully timed, which at Georgian Studies Day is always a plus. I remember I went for, obviously I was born in England and went as a postgraduate to Georgia, 1969 to 1973. And I remember that there was a professor of ethnography who wrote an article about 19th century embroidery in Georgia, but he had to get the Moscow permission to publish it. And they said, you can't publish this because you've not mentioned Leonid Brezhnev's 25th Congress. So he had to put something in at the beginning about the importance of labor and work before he could publish. I mean, it was absolutely surreal. But you're so unbelievably brave. And
well, I must say I didn't quote Lenin or Brezhnev or anyone, at least in 80s. And yeah.
Yes, I was just, yes.
Times were better. You were not,
yes.
to get yourself published, you didn't need to quote Lenin or Marx, for example.
Yes, exactly, because it was, in fact, it coincided with Gorbachev coming to power, and things becoming, I was going to say that, well, it's lovely that for me, at least, that you're in the UK. I don't know how Georgians feel. Now, what I have to ask is, do we have Mzia Shanava with us now? Are you there?
Yes, I am here. I am here.
You can say, lovely. So let me see. Hold on. This Maka Bakradze has done such a fantastic job. Mzia Shanava is a Georgian instructor, program on Georgian Studies, Davis Center for Russian and Eurasian Studies at Harvard University. She's a linguist, journalist, educator. She studied Georgian language and classical humanities at Ivani Javachishvili University in Tbilisi, Georgia. This is the State University of Tbilisi. She led courses of Georgian and classical languages, worked at the Academy of Sciences of Georgia, and was a TV journalist and covered culture and science at Georgian National Television. After immigrating to the United States, she worked as a Georgian translator for the Department of Justice and was an instructor for the Department of Defense, where she taught Georgian language to diplomats and developed a course of modern Georgian language. Her extensive communication skills, varying proficiency in 7 languages, and cultural background, which for an anthropologist as myself is very, very impressive, enable her to analyze and evaluate global socio-political events, especially in Georgia, Russia, and Eastern Europe. If you could keep to the time, I'd be extremely grateful. But
Absolutely. I am not as eloquent as everyone here. So I will be short. Yes, I am promoting my program today. It's program on Georgian studies at Harvard University. And this is only academic program in the US. There are more cultural centers in America, but Harvard has the academic course. Our program was funded in 2021 by the support of Ministry of Education of Georgia and by a relentless work and dedication of Professor Stephen Jones. Stephen Jones is an American scholar, historian who works on First Republic of Georgia, and he is fantastic, and he's a great friend of Georgia, and also a very dedicated man, dedicated to our program and to our country. So I am very, very happy, and I am honored to speak with you today and about something that holds a special place in my heart, the teaching of the Georgian language at Harvard University. When we think of world languages taught in great universities, we often imagine that usual global giants, English, French, Chinese, Arabic, but the story of Harvard's commitment to linguistic and cultural diversity goes far beyond this. Among the languages that open the windows into lesser known yet profoundly rich civilizations, Georgian stands as a rare gem. Teaching Georgian at Harvard, it's not simply about learning vocabulary or grammar. It's about entering a world of ideas. It's about understanding a culture that has preserved its identity through centuries of challenge and change. In our classroom, students don't just study a language, they explore a worldview. They learn how a small country with an ancient script and big heart has shaped regional history, theology, music, and literature. The presence of Georgian studies at Harvard sends a message. It tells our students that even the smallest languages matter, that every language, no matter how many speak it, holds within it a unique vision of humanity. And when our students engage with Georgian, they are not only expanding their linguistic horizons, they are participating in the preservation and celebration of cultural diversity. It's not simply a linguistic exercise. It is an act of cultural preservation, a bridge between civilizations and way of engaging students with questions of identity, history, and translation. Through language, our students encounter the intellectual legacy of Georgia, and they come to see how a small nation's cultural voice contributes to the wider story of humanity. Teaching Georgian to the foreigners, as all know, have both challenges and opportunities. With a relatively small speaker base and limited exposure in the West, the classroom becomes a laboratory for creativity. We design curricula that integrate language learning with literature, music, and film. We emphasize cultural immersion and historical context, and most importantly, we cultivate in our students the awareness that every language, regardless of size or global influence, encodes a unique worldview, one worth studying, preserving, and celebrating. In this sense, Georgian language instruction contributes not only to linguistic diversity, but to the intellectual mission of the university itself. It reminds us that education is not merely about acquiring widely used tools, but about expanding our capacity for empathy and understanding. Georgian in many ways an academic treasure. It's a South Caucasian language unrelated to any major language families, written in one of the few original alphabets still in use today, an alphabet that UNESCO recognizes as part of the world's intangible cultural heritage. And to teach Georgian is to bring this extraordinary heritage into conversation with the modern academic world. It is not simply about teaching vocabulary and grammar. It is about introducing students to an entire new world, one that reflects the geographical, historical, and spiritual crossroads of Georgia itself. Our achievements, I should say a little more about our students. Usually the language in Harvard, languages are offered, lots of languages, but Georgian is very small language, and we don't have as much students as, for instance, Russian or Ukrainian or other languages have, but the students that we have, they are dedicated to Georgia. They are dedicated to our country. They usually study the language and then they go and they work in Georgia, they study Georgia, they help Georgia. So we are kind of cultural ambassadors, and we are making more friends for Georgia. For me, it's more important than teaching grammar or teaching vocabulary. So if my students become friends of Georgia, I think that my agenda is done well. Also, at broader level, the teaching of Georgian language within an institution like a Harvard carries symbolic significance. It sends a powerful message that linguistic diversity is not peripheral, but central to human knowledge, that even a language spoken by a few million people in a small mountainous country deserves a place in global intellectual conversation. And it is also an act of connection between languages, between cultures, and between the past and the future. It reminds us that education at its highest purpose, it's not only to inform, but to inspire, to sustain, and to humanize. Let us continue to create universities where all languages, great or small, can be heard, where the voice of Kartuliana, the Georgian language, joins the chorus of world scholarship, and where our students learn not only how to speak new words, but how to listen to the world in new ways. That's my story. Thank you very much for listening, and I am ready for questions if there are any.
Oh, thank you so much, Kalbatanumzia. It was a mixture of poetry that you were giving us with your talk, because you spoke so beautifully and eloquently. It reminds me, one of the first times I gave a lecture at the anthropology department of the University of Cambridge, the professor who was presenting me said, "We're talking about Georgia, not peanut Georgia, not the United States Georgia." And a whole group of students stood up and walked out, and to think that here you are, in the United States at Harvard, and yes, making little Georgia something of a cradle of civilization. And I just loved your words. Thank you very, very much. I'm going to press on because just in case we don't get time, what I do suggest, if it's possible with Hannah, is that after the formal conference is finished, perhaps we could have 10 minutes for informal chat. That might be possible, but we do have to press on, because now...
Thank you so very much. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you.
It's very lovely. Now we press on, and we have Marina Tsitsishvili.
Sorry.
MBE.
Are we going
Yes.
to see if we can get Peter?
I think we're going to have Peter straight after this.
Okay,
because
fine,
I want to finish the
Okay.
panel. I think it's best so that we have some kind of order and not complete chaos, that we finish the panel. And if that's okay with Peter, we then have Peter Naismith, if that's okay with you, darling. Are you there, Peter? Well, if you could tell him. So Marina Tsitsishvili has been promoting British-Georgian relations all her life. In 1989, she started her career in Great Britain. She worked as a consultant and producer of the Anglo-Georgian films made by her husband, George Levashov-Tumanishvili, for Channel 4. In 1994, they set up in London a company called International Centre for Cultural and Business Relations, an organisation that predates the British Georgian Society. And in 1993, they opened the first Georgian restaurant in London, which I remember so well, Lucky Village. And they also opened an art gallery where works of Georgian artists were exhibited. She also set up the Georgian arm of the English-speaking Union in Georgia, as well as founding the British Georgian Cultural Centre and English Language Centre in Tbilisi's Vake Park. She has led charity work in Georgia for over 30 years and is the first ever Georgian to be awarded an MBE, which is a member of the British Empire, in 2016. We are going to have a British-Georgian Connections short documentary, 25 Years of English-Speaking Union, which I think is from her, straight after Peter Naismith's presentation. So I would like to introduce Marina Tsitsishvili. I hope I can see you. And
hello.
Hear you. Okay, can we see you? That would be lovely too, if that's possible. And yes?
Can you see me?
Unfortunately, yes. Yes, we can. Lovely. Beautiful.
Hello.
I'm not taking it for granted anymore. Every time we see and hear a speaker, it's a miracle. Thank you.
I know, yeah. Thank you. Tamara, you said everything I am going to speak about, but now I will try to say the same. My name is Marina Tsitsishvili, and I am the president of the English-speaking Union in Georgia.
Where was it?
Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very well, Marina. Hello.
Yeah, okay.
Perfectly.
We can't share the photos. Could you, Hannah, can you help us, please?
She's offline. I don't know if we can.
Sorry, yeah. No, I've just changed your access, so you should be able to share now.
Yeah.
It's a button just next to the leave button on the top right-hand corner.
Cool.
Try to press F5. There's a button on top of your keyboard. F5. There you go. You can move between the slides with the arrows. So if you press the right arrow.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Marina Tsitsishvili, and I am the president of the English-speaking Union in Georgia. Later, you can watch a short film about the issue Georgia's history and its 25th anniversary. But before that, I would like to say a few words about the years that led up to its creation, years that were also connected with strengthening the links between the United Kingdom and Georgia. From the very beginning, I have been promoting the Georgian the English language in Georgia and introducing Georgian culture to the UK and vice versa, much as I could, of course, but I never expected any recognition. So it came as a great surprise when in 2016 I became the first Georgian to be awarded the honorary MBE, Member of the British Empire, by Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II for services to UK Georgian cultural and educational relations. The award was presented to me by Right Honourable Philip Hammond, then the British Foreign Secretary at the British Embassy in Tbilisi, and the award was presented by Alexandra Koholt, the British Ambassador to Georgia. Our English journey began back in 1989 when my husband, George Levashov-Tuvanishvili, a film director, and I signed a co-production contract with Channel 4 in London. The resulting drama documentary, Wanted Marjorie and Oliver, aimed to introduce Georgia to British audience, who at that time knew very little about us. Some confused Georgia with a US state, others thought it was a French perfume, and some even thought that the capital of Georgia was Kiev. And here in this photo, in the middle, you see Mr. Andrew Wardrop, the son of Sir Oliver Wardrop, who took part in our film. And the next slide, please. And here is Akaki Ramishvili, who lived in London. And in this photo, you see Akaki and Vanoyan. And he was the son of Noé Ramishvili, the first prime minister of independent Georgia in 1821. And here you see Akaki with Vanoyan Belize, an actor with the Georgian flag in London, King's Cross. And this is Alex Kingston, our actress, who played the leading role in Wanted Marjorie and Oliver. That was just the beginning. My husband established a film company in Georgia called Moon Globe, and we went on to co-produce Lucky Village and Prêt à Vivre, Ready to Live, with brilliant British actors such as Tim Pigott-Smith. Here is Tim Pigott-Smith and Zurab Gifshidze, a famous Georgian actor, and Sean Phillips and Roger Lloyd Peck. And also here with the umbrella is Tacha Quintanar, a Spanish actress who used to be love of Gabriel Garcia Marquez when he lived in Paris in the 50s. He dedicated a few novels to her, including No One Writes to the Colonel and Love in the Time of Cholera. The producers of these films were Mr. David Rose, head of drama at Channel 4, and Philip Whitehead, a well-known producer, film director, and European MP. I also was one of the producers and the consultant on these films. Our collaboration with Channel 4 and BBC also led to several documentaries about Georgia. The director of the BBC documentary Georgia was Jill Barnes, and the presenter was a famous British diplomat, Sir Fitzroy MacLean, and he's said to be the prototype for James Bond. And here in this photo you see Ilya II, the Patriarch of Georgia, Sir Fitzroy MacLean, and myself. Okay, in 1994, we founded the ICCBR, International Center for Cultural and Business Relations in London, the first Georgian organization of its kind in the UK. At that time, there was no Georgian embassy in London, so ICCBR played an important role in hosting delegations and arranging meetings between Georgian officials and British MPs, business leaders, and cultural institutions. Our motto was, bring east to west and west to east. We even received support from Islington Council, who provided us offices in the historic Finsbury Town Hall. We have organized a lot of events at Finsbury Town Hall for further strengthening links between the UK and Georgia. Among them was a reception for President Shevardnadze and the Georgian delegation in 1995. Here is President Shevardnadze with Gela Charkviani. In this picture, you see my husband, George Levashov-Tumanishvili, our friend Bill McAllister, who used to be the director of contemporary of the Institute of Contemporary Arts. The next one is Ukrainian ambassador to Britain, and also Neil Hedgeson, who was the editor-in-chief of The Independent. And here is Ms. Tamar Dragadze, who also spoke at this reception. So we also organized an event for Stephen Nash, the first British ambassador to Georgia, at Finsbury Town Hall. And we were the first Georgians he met in London. And later, we opened an art gallery in St. John Street, EC1, showcasing Georgian painters. And in 1995, we invited a children's dance company from Batumi to dance at the Barbican. They also danced at the Central School of Ballet, and it was a success. BBC made a special program about them, and the journal Dancing Times wrote, 2 hours later, the ceiling of the studio was in danger of falling down. We also brought Georgian culture to the UK in more personal way, and opening the first Georgian restaurant in London called Lucky Village in 1993. Here you see Mr. Stephen Nash with a famous Georgian actress, Sofiko Aureli, and here is Vanessa Redgrave, Ray Fiennes, and when Tumanishvili Theatre came to London, Mikhail Tumanishvili, my husband's uncle, a well-known Georgian theatre producer, and his company came to London. We invited the whole company to Lucky Village after the premiere of the production of Midsummer Night's Dream at the Barbican. Around the same time, we established St. George's Charity for Georgia, which supported orphanages, children with disabilities, and veteran filmmakers. The British public responded generously to our appeal to help children in Georgia. With help from partners like Salvation Army and British Airways, we were able to bring donations directly to those in need. From 2000 to 2011, I worked with world-renowned Gabriadze Theatre as its foreign minister, as our friend Rezo Gabriadze called me. We toured widely from the Barbican in London and the Edinburgh Festival to New York's Lincoln Center and even the Faroe Islands. I handled negotiations, contracts, and simultaneous translations, helping to bring Georgian art to global audiences. During these tours, I had the privilege of meeting remarkable people like Tonino Guerra and Michelangelo Antonioni in Italy, Peter Brook in Paris, Maurice Béjart, a famous choreographer in Switzerland, Richard Gere and Mikhail Baryshnikov in the US, and many others. In 2000, I set up the English-speaking union in Georgia, and it is an international charity promoting friendship and understanding through the English language. And in 2015, I founded the British Georgian Cultural Center and an English language center in Tbilisi Vage Park called the British Corner. Over the years, I have welcomed hundreds of British guests to Georgia. I have always tried to show Georgia, to show the very best of Georgia, and many of them told me, I fell in love with Georgia, I will be back. And for me, that is the greatest reward of all. Thank you very much indeed. Thanks. And
Thank you.
later you can watch the film about the English-speaking Union of Georgia. And it's
I have
22
to.
time.
Yes.
Sorry,
Yes,
Tamar.
I'm sorry, Marina. I have to hugely disappoint you, but we couldn't see a single picture. I'm afraid they never came up, and I didn't know how to stop it yet again, because even
Tamara,
without
I
seeing,
saw the pictures. I saw all the pictures.
I
Well, I
think
never
some
s-
people could and some people couldn't. I think it
didn't.
depended
Well,
how
I've
people are
had
logged
several
into
messages.
Teams.
Yes, I've had several messages. Well,
They
at
were
least some
great.
people saw them, and they were wonderful for those who were lucky enough to see
Sorry.
them. But no. Apparently, some people saw them, which is wonderful. But it was
Yes,
it was
I saw the
lovely.
pictures and they were exciting. Thank you.
Well, perhaps we can have them over again for everybody at some point later on. Now, what we have, is Peter Naismith there? Peter? Have we got Peter Naismith? And could we possibly have him for everybody to see? Hello? Hello? Have we got Peter Naismith? Oh, have we?
I can see that he's online again, but I think we might be having the same issue as earlier.
Oh, then perhaps we should change, and we should ask Kalbatoni Marina to please show her film. And Hannah, is there any way that you can make sure that we do see this film?
Yes, I think this is the one that I have the link for, so I will share that
good.
with you now.
I think if
This is the
everybody
25th
agrees-
anniversary of the
Yes,
ESU. Yes.
Yes, that's right. So if we could have that, that would be wonderful if you could put it on. And then hopefully Peter Naismith, wherever he is, can join. Thank you. We can't hear anything. Hannah, it's on mute.
Oh, I can hear it.
Okay.
Just needed to share sound as well.
The ESU Georgia was launched
now we
in
can.
2000. Thus, this year is its 25th anniversary. Happy birthday, ESU Georgia.
The main goal of the English-speaking Union is promoting friendship and understanding through the English language. The English-speaking Union was founded in London in 1918 by the writer Sir Evelyn Wrench. There are now more than 50 ESUs around the world. The ESU has always drawn distinguished people. One of its chairmen was Sir Winston Churchill. For 70 years, its patron was Queen Elizabeth II. Before her coronation, the Queen was the president of the English-speaking Union, but on her accession to the throne, her husband became president, a role he occupied until 2022. After serving as president, Princess Anne became patron of the ESU in 2025.
In Georgia, the English-speaking Union was set up in 1998.
საქართველოში ეს კავშირი 1998 წელს შეიქმნა. მე ინგლისში გავიცანი ლედი ვალერი მიჩელი, რომელიც არის გენერალური დირექტორი ამ კავშირისა ლონდონში და შევთავაზე რომ შევქმნით ამ კავშირს საქართველოში.
The official launch in 2000 was attended by a delegation of 100 people from 41 countries. Among them were not only ESU members, but also diplomats and other distinguished people. The delegation was headed by Lord Watson of Richmond, who was then chairman of the ESU, and Valerie Mitchell, the Director General.
Well, my name is Lord Watson and I'm chairman of the English-Speaking Union, and I'm absolutely delighted to be here in Georgia. I'm thrilled about the opening of this ESU branch, and I think there's going to be many years of really good cooperation to everybody's benefit. And it's also a particular delight to be here in this wonderful weather, to see these absolutely splendid buildings, and to receive the generous and warm hospitality of the Georgian people. Thank you.
But again, I want to quote one of our great poets, John Milton. The debt immense of endless gratitude, still owing, Marina, and still to pay. Thank you all very much indeed.
ESU Georgia was actually founded in 1998 and became active immediately, beginning its 24 years of celebrating the birthday of Queen Elizabeth II, who was the patron of the ESU.
Congratulations to the ESU, and I would like you all to join me in celebrating the health of Her Majesty the Queen, raising the toast. The Queen. The Queen.
Her Majesty has been our patron. The Queen.
To wish a very happy birthday to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II.
The Queen.
The Queen.
The Queen. The Queen.
ESU Georgia's role has gone far beyond helping spread the use of English globally. It has participated in the ESU work of actively promoting among its members understanding of their different cultures. At ESU Georgia, we have aims to introduce Georgian culture to Britain and British culture to Georgia. For example, in 2003, ESU Georgia organized the participation of the Georgian male choir Simnan Dali and the famous Welsh music festival, the Holgoland Eisteddfod. Amazingly, they were awarded the first prize. Then, in 2009, ESU Georgia, supported by the Ministry of Culture of Georgia, organized an exhibition of the famous Georgian artist Zurab Nizaradze's work at London's prestigious Mayfair Air Gallery. This was a great success. The same year, ESU Georgia brought to Tbilisi 2 British Army veterans, all heavily decorated, red-coated residents at the historic institution, the Royal Hospital Chelsea. They came to celebrate Victory Day with 100 Georgian military veterans. ESU Georgia celebrated Shakespeare's birthday. Throughout the year, English language plays are staged at the British Corner. In 2015 and 2016, Salamanca and Bugles of the Rifles, the band of the British Army Rifles Battalion, gave a concert at the British Corner, the ESU Georgia headquarters in Tbilisi's Varka Park. In 2019, ESU Georgia hosted bagpipers from the Royal Regiment of Scotland. But of course, ESU Georgia never forgets the main goal of the English-speaking union, which is the promotion of the use of the English language. For this reason, Marina Tsitsishvili founded in Tbilisi an English language center, which is called the British Corner, supported by ESU Georgia.
It is a little British corner and a little part of Britain in the heart of Tbilisi. And Marina Tsitsishvili has turned this into a wonderful home from home, both for the British community in Georgia, but also all those Georgians who want to learn a little bit more about Britain.
In 2013, Marina was elected as the president of ESU's International Council and served in that role for 2 years.
In 2016, Marina was awarded with an Honorary Order MBE, Member of the British Empire, by Queen Elizabeth II.
The first ever time a Georgian national has been awarded a special award by Her Majesty the Queen in honour of services to UK-Georgia cultural and educational relations.
So thank you for the work that you've done. Thank you for all the friends that you've made for us, and I hope that the cultural links that you're building will go on to mean lots of Georgian people travelling to the UK, lots of British people travelling to Georgia, and deepening and strengthening the links between our two countries over the years to come. So there's a certificate. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. It is hard to find words to express my gratitude to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II for recognizing my humble work. Thanks to the British Embassy in Georgia. But my special thanks go to Her Excellency, Mrs. Alexandra Kolpov.
In 2016, the ESU International Council meeting was held in Tbilisi with a conference at the historic Writers' House, a fitting international location as it was built in 1905 by German architect Karl Zahr. Attending it were 50 delegates from all over the world, including Australia, New Zealand, USA, Hong Kong, and Malaysia. The delegation was headed by Lord Botang, Chairman of the English-speaking Union, and Jane Easton, the Director General.
The International Council meeting has been an outstanding success.
I feel it is completely appropriate that the English-speaking Union are here, and I also hope that that is a relationship I can help to grow and develop in the years ahead. But for now, thank you for your hospitality. I'm delighted it has been such a successful meeting for the ESU.
The English-speaking Union is about relationships. It's about the importance of relationships in building trust and peace and harmony amongst nations, and about the importance of language in underpinning those relationships. And our promise to you, Marina, is that, and to you, Mr. Mayor, is that we will leave Tbilisi even more determined to stand up for the values that you so obviously represent. So a very, very big thank you. And for the English-speaking Union of Georgia, for Georgia, for the relationship between the English-speaking peoples of the world and all who embrace our values. Our message is onwards and upwards. Onwards and onwards and upwards. Thank you very much.
That same evening, a memorandum of friendship between ESU Bristol and ESU Georgia was signed.
The main goal of the English-speaking union is promoting friendship and understanding through the English language. But this week, the main goal of the English-speaking union of Georgia will be to make all of you fall in love with Georgia. And I promise that I will do my best.
We've been overwhelmed by the beauty and the power of Georgia. It is a wonderful, wonderful country.
We will see Georgia one of these days in the common market.
In this wonderful country of Georgia, it's just wonderful. And to be together with so many other English-speaking union leaders from around the world is just terrific. We couldn't be having a better time in this beautiful, beautiful country. And we appreciate the possibility of speaking English together in better understanding.
Summarised perfectly what the English-speaking union is about. Friends from around the world coming together, sharing interests, finding out about each other, all through the language that we share. But more importantly, hopefully building bridges that will have an impact more widely in the future. It's been an amazing experience.
I love Georgia. I love this place. Every aspect of Georgia. Beautiful people, beautiful food, and beautiful rich history and culture. Is so much thing to see. I love this place. I would definitely come back here.
The quality of the wine. As a French person, as you know, I'm very sensitive to the quality of wine. And but on top of that, I must say that it's a wonderful opportunity for people from all over the world to be here and share friendship and mutual understanding, as it is the mission and vision of our great organization.
This has been a fantastic conference, so well planned.
I really hope to come again pretty soon.
I can now tell for sure that I'm in love with Georgia.
This is the place I have fallen in love.
It's a lovely country, beautiful place, beautiful people. I do hope to come back one day.
It's been absolutely brilliant, and I hope to tell everybody, as many people as possible, so that they all come back and visit Georgia. It's been absolutely beautiful. The food is beautiful, and beautiful, lovely. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Over the years, many people in Georgia have benefited from their contact with ESU Georgia. Among them have been ESU members who have attended such events as cultural seminars in Cambridge and at London's Globe Theatre, the International Britain Conference in Oxford, and the teacher training at Bell College. We even sent a nurse from the Joanne Clinic in Tbilisi for training at the intensive care unit at the UK's Swindon Hospital.
ბევრი წელია ვთარგმნი, მაგრამ როდესაც შექსპირის ტექსტს მივადექი, უკვე ეს იყო ჩემი 40 წლიანი გამოცდილების შემდეგ, მივხვდი რომ შევეჯახე ძალიან საინტერესო, მაგრამ ურთულეს ფენომენს. ეს იყო შეკვეთა, მაკბეტი. ერთ-ერთ თეატრს და ახალგაზრდა რეჟისორს ჭირდებოდა ეს პიესა ქართულად. აი სწორედ ამ დროს 2009 წელს ESU-ს დახმარებით მე აღმოჩნდი ლონდონში, გლობუსში, შექსპირის თეატრის შუაგულ ცენტრში. იყო სემინარი, რომელსაც პროფესიონალები ატარებდნენ. აი იქ დამილაგდა შექსპირის ტექსტი, მისი რიტმიკა, მელოდიკა, ლექსიკა, ყველა სირთულე და მე უცებ მივხვდი, რომ ვიპოვე გასაღები. ფაქტიურად კოდი ვიპოვე შექსპირის ტექსტის და ამისთვის ძალიან დიდი მადლობა ქალბატონ მარინა ციციშვილს და ESU-ს, რომლის წევრი დაარსებიდან ვარ და ძალიან მეამაყება.
Hello, I'm Leva Dumbadze, a teacher of English and a translator. I'm happy today to congratulate Georgian English-speaking Union on the event of its 25th jubilee. But firstly, I cannot but say a few words about its president, Marina Tsitsishvili, for her incredible achievements in the sphere of laying foundations for friendship between nations. As for my personal experience with the English-speaking Union, I'm one of those luckiest people who had a chance to participate and be a member of a cultural seminar in Shakespeare's Globe, London, in 2006. The seminar united people from almost all the continents. We attended performances after which the Globe's Director of Education, Patrick Spottiswoode, gave us the possibility to interview actors and actresses after just finishing the performance. The seminars being interesting.
It's frozen, but I don't quite know what's happened. Hello?
No.
English-speaking Union is holding every year. It's a wonderful, wonderful event. It is very difficult for a small country like Georgia to survive without such contacts, especially in these turbulent times. So, long live the United Kingdom, long live Georgia and our friendship. Thank you.
The most important project for ESU Georgia is the public speaking competition. ESU Georgia has organized it since its inception in 1998. A national version of this contest is held in numerous countries. Students from over 50 countries take part, and it's the largest public speaking competition in the world. 1 million young speakers from all over the world take part. The best speakers from the competitions in each of these countries are sent to London to participate in the final rounds of the International Public Speaking Competition. ESU Georgia is proud that it has already sent 39 young speakers of between 16 to 20 years old to London. All of them come back full of unforgettable memories.
Every year, the English-speaking Union has been holding public speaking competitions all over the world,
selecting a winner from each country to be sent to London for 1 week to participate in the finals.
Just imagine, over 100 students from over 64 different countries.
Under the same roof in the heart of London.
Do you have what it takes? Because I did.
Because I did.
Because I did.
Because I did.
Because I did. It was the best week of my life.
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 And the most important, you have the chance to win the international public speaking competition. And then Buckingham Palace will host an awarding ceremony especially for you. Believe me, it's possible. I've been there.
Sofo Gorgodze won the International Public Speaking Competition in London in 2002. Buckingham Palace to receive her certificate from Prince Philip.
I've had the privilege of observing young speakers from Georgia over many years, and it's a true pleasure to say that the mastery of public speaking in English language has increased dramatically. I'd like to thank once again ESU Georgia and its president for giving this opportunity to young people to showcase their potential and be recognized internationally. ESU gives winners unprecedented experience, a chance to spend a week in the UK. And yes, after 25 years, this week has been the best weeks of my life. And then there was an award ceremony at the Buckingham Palace. Unforgettable day. Imagine just a young girl of 18 met by Prince Philip and those in Buckingham Palace. It was truly unforgettable.
Participating in English-speaking union activities opened a lot of opportunities for me personally, including getting a scholarship through Bank of Georgia to study at the University of Limerick in Ireland, and also opening wider opportunities in the English-speaking world, particularly in Britain. Currently, I'm also achieving scholar at the University of Oxford, and all of this would not have been possible without me in getting involved in English-speaking union activities, which opened all these doors for me personally and for many other young people in Georgia and beyond.
Everyone, my name is Elene, and I was the winner of the public speaking competition. I'm super excited to be here today and to have the opportunity to speak to you, because today is I could list at least 50 reasons why British Corner has been absolutely foundational for my personal and professional growth. This public speaking experience really helped me to overcome my fears. What you are doing, you are empowering a new generation of young leaders. And I'm so grateful that I got the opportunity to witness your work, to meet you, and to become a part of this very vibrant, very diverse network that is still growing, and I hope it will grow to become a very big ecosystem.
So that's what YesU Georgia has managed to achieve in these 25 years. I wish YesU Georgia to survive and be more successful in the years to come.
I've completely lost everything. You've got to finish now. I'm sorry. We have to finish. We have to finish now. I'm so sorry. But
it's okay. It's finished.
Okay, good. Thank you very much. That was a wonderful film about the achievements that you personally have managed, Calvatoni Marina, and we're all very grateful. And also, of course, it gives hope that one day Georgia will be able to be much closer to Europe, which of course includes the United Kingdom. Now I'm asking for, once again, is Peter Naismith available?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you and I can see you, which is wonderful.
Wow. Okay. Can we now share my screen? Let's
Hannah,
see.
it's up to you if you can please allow him to share his screen, and hopefully that everybody can see it.
You should already.
Not the chosen few.
Can you?
Not yet.
Not yet.
You can't see anything. No, not yet.
Can you see anything now? 1, 2, 3.
No,
4.
nothing. Only beautiful. Already that we can see you.
You can see beautiful me, but not my beautiful screen.
No, not at all. I'm afraid, Hannah. I don't know if you can help there.
So you should have access to share your screen. Can you see the share button next to leave on the top right hand corner?
Yeah, I did. I clicked it.
The black one.
Yeah. So you should have the options.
It's a white one on my screen.
No, it's the black one. Okay.
It might look different on your screen. So if once you've done that, you should have the option of screen, window, or tab. Choose what you want to share.
Choose what you want to share. Yeah, I've done it. I clicked it. And nothing is happening, I'm afraid.
If you choose a tab or a window, you have to choose then which tab or window you would like to share. Otherwise, just share the whole screen, and that way we'll see everything. But
right, I don't know why it's not coming out. Well,
do you by any chance also see any requests from your browser? If it's Firefox especially, or Safari, they might be asking you to allow this screen sharing.
Because I'm using Firefox.
Yeah, so okay, so when you click share, you choose your tab or window, or screen, there might be a question from Firefox asking you to allow it, because
Yeah,
the
there
Firefox.
is. But it is, but it's not. I can see it. It says, allow Teams to share your screen.
Yes.
And then it says allow, but it's not, it's grayed out.
Maybe you have to choose the amount of time. Is there any selection for amount of time for which you allow it?
No, there isn't, I'm afraid. There's just, it's grayed out. So.
All right,
I can just talk. I'll just talk.
If you could talk. It's the first time we've not had images, but then this has been a very different kind of Georgian Studies Day anyway. But we'd love to hear anything you can say, Peter.
Well, that's very sweet of you, Tamara. I'll tell you what, I will put my talk on my screen and I'll describe it to you. And you just tell me when my time is up, okay? And I'll stop talking. Okay, in fact, some of it is very talkable anyway, because, well, first of all, I must say how interesting this Georgian Studies Day has been. It's quite different in tone and fascinating to see all those people who usually just watch Georgian Studies Day actually describing who they are and what they've done and where and how their lives have evolved. I think that's very, very useful and very interesting. I am a sort of expat in reverse in that I am sitting here in Tbilisi. I live 6 months of the year here, and I'm sort of doing what your previous speakers have done, but from the Tbilisi end as a British citizen. I have to say, it's been a wonderful 37 years, which is how long I've been coming to Georgia. One of the things I've done is start a publishing company. And it was suggested that I talk about in fact, the second book I ever published, which was by an expat Georgian who was living in America called Nicholas Chotowa. And I started my publishing company back in 2005. And I was desperately looking for some Georgian fiction to publish because there hadn't been any. And well, very good, let's say, good international Georgian fiction. That there had been some, but something that I wanted to publish that I felt that wouldn't lose me money as a publisher by printing it. And one day, and I was telling everybody this, and one day, a friend of mine who owns a bookshop in Camden Town here in London, called Walden Books, suddenly said, "Peter, I've just read a Georgian novel from cover to cover in one sitting." He said it was published in 1946, and why don't you read it? And I read it in one sitting as well, and thought, wow, this is the book. I finally found it. And it was called Timeless. And I then tried, and it was still in copyright. So I then tried to get in touch with the family. And it was extremely difficult. No one had heard of Nicholas Chotowa in those days here in Tbilisi, until finally I found a genealogist who tracked the family down very quickly and said, oh, the son of Nicholas Chotowa had died in 1985 or 84, but his son was still alive. He lived in Marbella. So I phoned Marbella and said, I've read your father's book. Can I publish it? And the son was called Charles. And he said, you're Peter Naismith. He said, I know you. He said, I've been to your bookshop. I've read your books. He said, of course you can. Come down to Marbella. So I came down to Marbella and met Charles. And it was written, if you can believe it, it was Nicholas Chotowa's fourth language, English. And there were a few mistakes in the English, so we corrected it and published it. And this is where we're going to miss the screen a bit, because it did very well. The Financial Times reviewed it. BBC made a little program on it. It's a love story about a Georgian and a Russian that goes wrong. Now, that's a familiar story, of course, and I published it by a coincidence in 2008, right when the civil war, well, the war between Georgia and Russia, sort of the 5-day war, flared up. So it got quite a bit of attention. Anyway, long story short, we sold the rights. And the book is now, unfortunately, more or less sold out. I think there's about 3 copies left. But the English translation that we published is now sold out. But recently, there's been some interest in making a film about it. And the man who funded that film, Tangerines, got in touch with me and my Georgian friend, Irakli Topuria, who published the first ever Georgian version of this novel, and said he was very interested in making or trying to get a film together on this. And it is a very compelling story. I won't tell you what it is because hopefully you'll read the book. So that's where we are at the moment. We're waiting to see if this will go any further. I think we need a good script. And we've been doing quite a bit of research into this book and into the Chotawa family, which is also fascinating. He was the representative of the Knights of Malta, not only in Georgia, but he was a friend of King Carlos of Spain, and had quite a few fingers in quite a few pies across Europe. So we think if we can do some good research, this will provide a lot of, let's say, background for a decent script writer or screenwriter to have a go at making a good script. Once we've got a good script, then there's a chance of a film, and this would be great. This would probably become the Ali and Nino of Georgia, and we're hoping very much that can happen. So I don't know how much longer I've got, Tamara, but that is sort of absolutely in a quick nutshell the story of Nicholas Chotawa, except maybe to say that he left Georgia in 1921 with, of course, a lot of Georgians, and spent the rest of his life pining to see Georgia again. Of course, it was the Soviet Union; it was all sealed off, and he couldn't. And he died in 1984. But as he knew he was dying, he wrote in his will, and he told his family that he wished his heart to be buried in Georgia, and it was. And it's an interesting story. I won't have time to tell you about it now, but basically his family sneaked in to the Vake cemetery and buried Nicholas Chotawa's heart in the family plot, the Chotawa grave, and that is also a very interesting element to this novel, which was the first and it was the only novel he ever wrote. And it was a story about a man who fell in love for the first and the last time, and it wasn't with his wife. And it's a great story. And as I say, there's a few copies left. I will, once we know more about the film, I will republish the book. And so will the Georgian translation is also sold out. So that's the Chotawa story. My story is that I have just finished a couple of days ago the latest edition of my walking guide, which some of you might know. It's one of the most successful but it is the most successful book I've ever published, and we've sold about 10,000 copies of it, and it's sold out. This is now the 4th edition. I've just finished it. I'm going to print it here in Georgia, and it will become available probably at the beginning of next year. And alongside that, I've done my new calendar, which most of you know. It's a shame Georgian Studies Day isn't here in person, because I would be handing them out, but maybe we'll be here next year. Who knows? So thank you, everybody. Thank you, Tamara. Thank you, Marina, for a fascinating story about what you have done in Georgia and in London. I remember Lucky Village very well, and we're all sort of a part of this bigger community, I think. Even though I'm English, I feel pretty Georgian, and I'm glad to be a part of you all. And look forward to next year. Thank you very much.
That was absolutely. Can you hear me?
I can, yes,
Yes.
I can.
Just to say, as usual, absolutely fascinating. There was a Chkotua who lived off the King's Road in Chelsea, who didn't know a word of English. Sorry, of Georgian. And then he sort of disappeared. I lost contact. But it's a fascinating story, and I can't wait. You'll republish a new edition. That would be nice, so we can buy it. I think if that's reason enough to have another Georgian Studies Day, just to be able to get your book. Now, we have run over time, of course, but I understand that Nina Chubabria, are you there? If not, I think we should go straight to the next person in our work in progress. For those of you who haven't been to Georgian Studies Day before, we always end with annual reports from those who are very committed to Georgian Studies Day, which includes the twins, and in fact now it's a trio, triplets, because Newcastle is there as well. But I think, oh, sorry. What? Gigauri? Okay. Sorry. Now I've been corrected. I'm sorry about this, but in fact, we are going to have David Gigauri. I think he's going to, if he can, talk about both things. First about his book, but then if he could also do the Newcastle Achal Tziche, if he can wait his turn, that would be nice. But if he's in a hurry, he'll have to do them as well. I would rather we got it in order and he does his quick presentation about the book that he's just done. And that would be very nice.
I can do that.
Okay, good. You can wait, you mean, for your turn for Newcastle?
I can wait and do it in sequence.
Fine. Ah, and we can see you. That is wonderful.
Right there. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can. That is a miracle. I hope everybody can see it. Yes? Hopefully, yes. Okay.
I'm going to try to sort of make it bigger, but
don't fiddle with it. We can see it.
Okay.
And it's best if you leave it as it is.
Fine. So as long as you can see the image and hi and thanks everyone. So I'm going to try to be as quick as I can and give just a quick overview of the book Divani Saga, which is a true biographical story. I think before we kick that off, I quickly pulled up a photograph of one of them, Divani's, having a chat with Grace Williams and Nicholas Chkotua, Peter. So there's actually a photograph of your author. So they actually knew each other. So I thought this would be a nice segue into my story. So what do Coco Chanel, Sherlock Holmes, Rudolph Valentino, and one of the richest girls have in common? Well, they were all part of the Divani entourage. The Divani Saga is an astonishing biographical account of, I think, one of the 20th century's most captivating families that, in a way, pioneered what we now know as lifestyle celebrity. It's a true story that follows there were 5 siblings, born to a Georgian military general and his socialite wife, who was once creating intrigue at the Russian imperial court. It's a riches to rags and back again to riches story that follows the changing fortunes of the Divani siblings as they barely escape post-revolution Georgia with just few dollars to their name. And within a decade, these 5 Divani children have turned these bucks into millions when they became the epicenter of the international jet set. At the time, and this is 1920s, so it's the rise of the mass media of the 1920s that paved the way for all 5 Divanis to become a household name based on their lifestyle and their name. So their name became a brand in itself. So although they were very successful in their professions, they were connected, educated, fashionable, it's actually, they were best known, and their success was them marrying into the echelons of Hollywood, American, European high society, and becoming, through this mass media, kind of the first global household name. So let's get into it. So there were 5 siblings, as I mentioned, 2 girls, Nina and Rusudam Divani, and then 3 boys, Serge Divani, David, and Alex. So if we start off with their father and mother, who are sort of fascinating characters in their own right. So you had General Zachary Divani. This Divani branch is originally from Imereti. They were gentry, although through his mother's side, they were real princely families of Palandishvili, as well as sort of big families that we know, like Sarajishvili and a few other ones. So here in the photographs, you can see he was the head of the Yerevansky regiment, one of the oldest ones. And they were close friends with the imperial family. So here you can see General Zachary Divani and Tsar Nicholas II. In the photograph on the right with a crest, that's his wife, Elizabeth Divani. Elizabeth Divani was half Polish. She was born Elizabeth Sobolewska to Count Sobolewski, and Georgian on his mother's side. They were very close. They were very much in love. She was a singer by background. She sang opera, and they were very different in their characters. So if he was very humble, a real sort of military disciplined kind of general, she was a powerful socialite. She was very close friends with Rasputin, and she tricked few ministers at the St. Petersburg Imperial Court to get them to meet, to try to sort out some of the dealings within the court. And the famous Vyrubova story actually was orchestrated by her. So there's a fascinating story behind that. That's their grandparents. So Aslan Divani, who had a house in Batumi, and you can see palm trees in the background, and his wife. And the painting on the right of the mother, that's actually painted by Irakli Toidze, a very famous Georgian artist. He was also a close friend. And Vano Sarajishvili, the famous opera singer who sang in La Scala and other European things, was also their cousin through the lady to his right, who was a Sarajishvili. So then you have the 3 boys. So you have Serge Divani, David, and Alexis. So between the 3 boys, they became known as the marrying Divanis. So in the Western press or global press, that was the moniker that was given to them. Because between them, there's too many to name now, and get the book and read it. But between them, they married the biggest Hollywood stars, including Mae Murray, which was one of the highest paid and pioneering female producer, and Paula Negri, who was the kind of the femme fatale of Hollywood, and previous fiance to Rudolph Valentino. There was just few of their wives, while Alexis married the richest heiresses in the world. So that's Barbara Hutton of the Woolworth fortune, and his first wife was actually Louise Van Allen of the American Astor and Vanderbilt families. In a funny twist, actually one of the brothers, after one of the brothers died, married Louise again. So he in fact married his former sister-in-law, which some of the press dubbed as jumping off a Empire State Building and surviving not once but twice. And then we have the interesting quote from Paula Negri. She was a connoisseur of men, and dated quite a few of them. So she does say, I did love my husband, Count Domsky. I adored Valentino. They were engaged, and I grew very fond of Charlie Chaplin. She dated him as well. But Serge and Devani means more to me than them all. So they clearly were an impressive bunch. While Mae Murray, the David Devani's wife, called David the most fascinating man in Hollywood. Obviously, all of this changes. There's ups and downs. They divorce and go on to marry other ones. Here, for example, we have Alexis Devani, the youngest or the baby of the family, with Barbara Hutton. And this is the jade necklace that he designed for her at Cartier, which was recently sold for 27.4 million, making it the most expensive jade jewelry ever sold. After his divorce, he actually owned Abbazio di San Gregorio in Venice, which he used his sister-in-law, his brother-in-law, who I'll talk about in a minute, to decorate it, and that can still be viewed now. It's no longer in the Devani family, but it's in quite a prominent place in Venice. He was Alexis specifically, he was a very accomplished polo player. In fact, he was by Polo Monthly, he was labeled as having really brought polo to popularity in France. And you can see all the, he played globally in India, obviously UK at Hurlingham and Ham, and was well known across the world. I'm just also sort of jumping back and forth, just giving you highlights to give kind of the flavor of the family. The party that he threw for his wife was dubbed by the Ritz family, Marie-Louise Ritz, in her biography, that Devani party was one of the greatest triumphs in the history of the Ritz, Ritz Paris, that is. So everything was done on quite a grand scale, and this is the way they lived and died. So 3 of them out of 5 died prematurely in tragic accidents. And the press, of course, they all loved the matrimonial affairs, although, as I said, they were quite successful in their businesses. You know, the two brothers founded a very successful oil company. Alexis worked for the Georgian legation in Paris and actually played quite a bit of politics. He was viewed by the whole of the kind of the wide Russian immigration of people who moved, who had to flee from Russia, with kind of the Barbara Hutton's fortune and his military pedigree. They viewed him as a natural leader to oppose the communists in 1930. So he even toyed around with politics, but obviously it was the wives and their matrimonial escapades without were of interest. And as you can see here, it attracted a lot of press, a lot of interest from the public. You know, some of the other wives were famous. The biggest opera singer at the time, Mary McCormick, and French star Arletty, who even, well, she had an abortion, but was even pregnant from one of the Devanis. Swiftly moving on to the 2 sisters, Ninam Devani and Rusim Devani, Rusudan. If we focused on Nina first, so she was actually the first Devani to marry. She married a famous celebrity lawyer who actually helped the family then through the first few years, as well as being there for every single Devani divorce, and eventually his own divorce, because she, unable to have children, unfortunately, married Arthur Conan Doyle's son, Dennis. And in fact, then she ended up running the Sherlock Holmes estate, and very successfully, initially with Dennis, and when he passed away, marrying their secretary, Tony Harwood, who was a Harvard-educated poet, about 25 years younger than her. And again, everything was put into press. She was the eldest of the siblings, and she outlived them all. So in fact, she saw the whole Devani saga from the beginning to the end, and was very close, again, with some of the biggest names in the world. So, you know, Helena Rubinstein said Nina's the salt of the earth. Barbara Cartland, Princess Diana's step-grandmother, and you probably know her from her books, you know, said Nina is the last of the fabulous personalities in a world of mediocre entities. So again, clearly making an impression on some of the bigger names, and she continued to print Arthur Conan Doyle's. And later in life, she was friends with Andy Warhol. He took the famous Polaroids. She was printed in Vogue later in life, and there was even an orchid named after her. Rusim Divani, she was probably the most scandalous and the most talented. She was a famous sculptress. At the age of just 19, she had 2 of her works exhibited at the famous Salon de Art Décoratif. She did busts of famous celebrities, everyone from Charlie Chaplin to Prince of the Netherlands to President Coleridge, as well as the famous Harmon Trophy, which was awarded to all the aviators, to the best aviator of that world. But at around the same age, if I just go back here, you can see it on the top right, she became friendly with José María Sert. He is a famous Catalan artist who you might know from his murals at the Rockefeller Center and the League of Nations. And the scandal was that he was married to Misa Sert. You can see you can see her drawing by Renoir on the left there. They were married together. She was the muse to Toulouse-Lautrec, Renoir, and many other celebrities. She patroned Diaghilev's Ballet Russe. She discovered Apollinaire. She was godmother to Picasso's children. And a famous ménage à trois started between the 3 of them, which caused huge scandal in Paris. And that lasted for a while until eventually José María Sert divorced Misa and married Rustam Divani. She was friends with Chanel. She was friends with Dali, as you can mention there. In fact, Dali said that she was one of the most interesting women she's ever met. Here again, there with Gala, Dali, and everyone there. She was photographed by Man Ray, Cecil Beaton. Recently at the Chanel exhibition, it was a picture of her that made it on the front cover of the V&A magazine. She was in Harper's Bazaar, Vogue. I mean, she was really ahead of her time in fashion and everything. And when when she was very close to Alexis, so when he died, then she sailed her yacht and eventually got TB and got onto drugs and died at the age of 31. But her legacy lives on. So in 1980s, Andy Warhol's muse, Billy Boy, he created a Divani doll. He said that Rusi came to him in a dream, and now it's one of the best collectible, the highest value collectible dolls. Chanel released recently a shade of lipstick in her name, Rusi, and her art and statues could be found at Sotheby's sales and others. They were such epitome of what celebrity was at the time that even recently Hollywood, used real photographs from a real wedding of Divani in film Babylon with Brad Pitt. They just changed their faces. So, but the family, Scott Fitzgerald used them as a kind of a certain celebrity species. They came up in How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie to establish their phenomena. But yet their names were forgotten, and this book is really to bring their story back, not to have it too biased because their ex-wives would then write badly at them. Well, the time they wrote well, press would like to scandalize them. So this book is really about trying to bring everything there in a balanced view and give the full story. It's more of a historic story rather than a scandalous story about this fascinating family. So I hope interest in them comes back. Thank you.
Thank you. This is absolutely amazing. I had to sort of leave the screen and come back because of...
Tamara, can I ask a very quick question, please?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, Nina Porakishvili here, David. So
Yeah.
I was, yeah, hi. Just a very quick way. First of all, it's fascinating, and that you actually wrote wrote a book about this incredible families is absolutely great and very interesting. I just wanted, first of all, there were of course no princesses by birth, weren't they? So they were not of the royal blood. But although they call themselves that, maybe I'm wrong. And secondly, any relation to Budum Divani?
Yes, so on the first question, so absolutely, and I actually sort of dedicate, quite a few pages on that in the book about how their title was used. So absolutely, when Georgia was incorporated, when Russian Empire disintegrated and there were titles and Divani did not have a title to use. Their claim, they never claimed to have royal princely title, but obviously in Georgia and in Russia, Knyaz or Tavadin also translates as prince. So it's a bit like the German princes, which is the non-royal blood. And plus they claimed, and it was approved by Kakic Henkeli and the Georgian Society, that actually when the Russians invaded Georgia, their specific branch of Divani were elevated to a Tavadi, not Tavari, by King Heraclius and Solomon for their battle at Girbalach near Yerevan, so which was then not accepted by the Russian Empire. And their grandmother was indeed a Princess Palavandishvili, accepted at the Russian Empire. So it's really, so they probably did not have the right to use the title in its form, but but their mother was a countess, their grandmother was a real princess, and they claimed the loss of the title because of the Russian Empire. Regarding Budum Divani, yes, they were direct cousins. So the Aslan Divani, who was General Zakharin Divani's father, they were first cousins. So they shared the same grandfather. So it was funny because one were adamant and hardcore anti-communist, and the other branch were very much
fantastic, lovely. Lovely, very interesting.
Thank you very much, David.
Thank you. It was fascinating, and I hope that we can see clearly where. Can we get the book on Amazon?
Yes, Amazon, Waterstones. You can.
Lovely.
It's widely available. Yeah.
So there, and friends in Georgia, you'll just have to go and talk to Peter Naismith because he's in his shop there. So we're all served, it seems. I think we've got to get on to the reports of work in progress at last. Can we therefore, is Nino Chubabria with us? Hart Trentan? No, not yet. Then what about Alex Surguladze? Is he with us? Oh, okay. What about Robert Scallon? Are you with us? I mean,
he was
on screen and able to both show his face and. Oh. Nino Chubabria, Trentan Hart, and it would be nice if we could keep to our order. There, I can see you. Unmute. There, Gedaft, Magram Argisment.
Ეხლა?
ხო, შვენიერი.
კოდი არ გქონიათ მოწოდებული და იმიტომ ვერ შემოვდიოდი მთელი დღე ვიწვალე.
ნუ მადლობა ღმერთს.
იცით ხოვდა კოდს და მე კიდე ვერ ხვდებოდი რომელია კოდი, რაღაცებს შემომყავდა და ბოლოს მომაწოდე.
Okay, we have Nina Chubabria. Many of you know her. I've already said that she is the director of Kurnali, which was actually started with a grant from the British Council many, many years ago, and it is still there, and it actually now houses 2 generations of people, because we have the young people off the street, we have ex-prisoners, young men and and young women. And now we have their children also. And one of these children is Christina. And that is what Nino is going to start with. Thank you. Nino.
I would like to begin. First of all, I would like to express my sincere gratitude for the great attention you have showed toward our organization. Now, I would like to begin by speaking about the pride of our organization, our champion, the trampoline gymnast Kristina Plekhanova. She is flying to Spain tonight to participate in the world championship, and we have great hopes that she will return into Georgia as world champion. This year, Christina added 5 gold medals to her collection of awards. She won Tbilisi Open Championship. She won Georgian Cup. Once again, won World Cups in Bulgaria. She also won international competition in Poland and in Portugal, where the jury gave her a standing ovation. When she won the World Cup, she called us and proudly said, "I raised the Georgian flag the highest." This year, our organization has prioritized not only the education of the children living in our shelter, but also of all adults living in our beneficiaries' family. With the support of the St. Gregory Foundation and MAC Georgia, we managed to secure additional fundings, allowing us to add the two more teachers to our team. And also, our children are now learning English from the British volunteer, and as the result, academic performance has improved significantly. We have also completed the renovation of third floor where two families are living now. Of course, again, with support of St. Gregory's Foundation, we continue and quite successfully to provide legal protection for youth. We also continue to support families with food and clothing. Recently, we helped a young person with a disability from the village of Gudani to find employment. With the help of our organization's loyal friend, we purchased a high-quality electric bicycle and helped him start working as a courier at Glovo. Because of his disability status, he cannot obtain a driver license and operate other vehicles. Nor can he perform physically demanding works. Together with his family, we spent a long time to thinking about what kind of job he can do, and it was our friend who always helps us, but prepares to stay anonymous, saying that as written is a gospel, the right hand should not know what the left hand is doing. Who come up with this wonderful idea, and now he's working. We have also funded expensive medical treatment for 3 children this year. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Nina. I hope that you share with me the huge admiration for this organization that actually does so much, and is the furthest removed charity I know of that do more than they say. Usually we get a lot of most charities about what they do, and then when you look, they don't always get to the same level. But here, she's only told us a tiny bit about what she does. And thank you so much. It's lovely that you're here with us. Now,
Thank you.
we have Robert Scallon, who's going to talk about what we call FARIG, which is Friends of the Academic Research in Georgia.
Okay.
Can people mute? There's a background noise. Hopefully, yes. Now, and apparently you're ready to share a screen.
I would like to take over if I can. I'm ready to share.
There's an echo. Oh,
Echo.
that's better. Now, yes, we've got the screen now.
Whoops.
Oh.
Just a second.
Something orange that we're getting, but it's disappeared again. Perhaps Hannah can help.
I can see your emails.
I'm trying to share this. I'm trying to share the screen. And
no, we've got your emails.
Have you got
my presentation now?
Okay. Quick presentation on FARIG, which was established in 2000 as an English charity, and you can see that there the address for any inquiries. It has a committee of 9, mostly professors, chaired by Professor Hubertus Jahn, lately of Cambridge University. It has an awards subcommittee of 5 people, 5 academics. It has a membership of 65, amongst whom the following universities are represented, as you can see there, both UK and USA and Germany, which is quite encouraging. It makes annual awards. Next year, it will make 8 research grants. Up to 2022, there was only 1 research grant, which was established by John Wilkinson. Now there are 8 funded by various trusts and foundations, and there's also 1 essay prize. And it makes small grants, for instance, to help scholars present their research papers at international conferences. In other words, it defrays some of their expenses, accommodation or travel or registration or visa or the like. Now we're coming on to the serious bit, the FARA law and other measures. The Georgian government is increasing pressure on civil society and the academic community, as we know. I would like to go back if I could. I don't know how to go back. We're very concerned about the effect on universities, but also on secondary education, because the government is taking measures which will limit the scope for secondary students to progress into the European environment for tertiary education. So FARIG is watching this very closely and is concerned that there will be an exodus of talented scholars from the country, which of course, it won't be for the first time, but it's, as we watch it, it's getting serious. And as part of that, we are increasing cooperation with other organizations and scholars in countries, as I just mentioned, like USA, Canada, France, and Germany. And that's the end.
That is most impressive, Roger, and I think all of us present will be watching what you are able to achieve. And thank you for being so succinct. It is rather nice to have screen sharing, which we don't usually have in person, but it does make a great difference, of course. Now I have to call on Jason Osborne. Are you here? Jason?
Yes, I am. Is that working?
Well, we can see J.O.
Hello?
We can't see. Sorry.
I think I'm here. Can you see me?
Yes,
Hello?
we can.
Yes, we can
Okay.
see you
Yes, sure.
with a beautiful kind of tapestry behind you.
Well, I'm afraid it's a very simple Georgian carpet, but anyway.
Beautiful.
Can you see
Lovely.
that?
Yes, we can. And
I'm
you?
now sharing a screen. Has that worked or not?
Yes, that we need Hannah to help.
Hold on.
Are you there?
Well, she's put my share on, but I don't think I've done it right.
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Great.
so I think there's a couple of things that we need to check. One is when you click share, you should be able to choose a screen window or tab. Choose whichever of those you like, and then it might be asking you for permissions. You might need to allow sharing. Is there a pop-up somewhere that's come up with that?
Open video options.
If you try clicking
Screen
share
window
again,
or tab.
yeah, there you go. Screen
Allowed
window.
to share screen.
Okay.
Okay, and now I can just put it onto what I want. Come on. I just need to do this. Okay, it's taken me off the hold on. I better just
Yeah, sometimes
sorry.
your computer settings don't let you share things without you having to allow.
I haven't done it on this before.
Yeah.
To share window, maybe that's what I want to say. Share the window. No, damn.
Yes, we're getting there. Oh, we saw some kind of hope suddenly. How are we doing?
Hello? I think we might have lost Jason.
Oh, we've lost Jason. Oh dear. So, I think we'll have to move to somebody whose face I saw through most of the conference, and that is Derek Pickup. But are you still with us are you there?
I'm still with you tomorrow.
I think while we're waiting for Jason, do you have to share your screen as well?
No,
Hopefully.
I don't have to share a screen.
Okay. I hope we can then have you and hopefully we won't be interrupted by Jason, because I think we really do have to move on if possible. So
Okay,
Derek, you've got a lot to tell us. Can I just say,
I'm going to be
Derek
short.
is one of our oldest fans of Georgian Studies Day. He's been coming to nearly all of them. He was given an honor by the Georgian state at one point. He has a beautiful Georgian costume that he wears when he comes to Georgian Studies Day, which is always lovely. And now we've got you on screen, and look forward to hearing what you've got to say about this past year. Bristol and Tbilisi.
Just to explain to people, I'm the chair of the Bristol Tbilisi Twinning Association. Bristol and Tbilisi have been twin cities since 1988. So in 1988, obviously Georgia was part of the Soviet Union. So we've seen the transition from a Soviet state to independence to the modern, what we like to think of more democratic Georgia we see today. The last year has obviously been quite difficult and challenging because of the political situation in Georgia. We work very closely with the British Embassy and with the Georgian Embassy. And of course, we've had no Georgian ambassador for the last almost 12 months, but we're hoping that they'll appoint one soon. And fortunately, Gareth has been very helpful from Tbilisi. One of the biggest problems we've had is that the mayor of Tbilisi decided that international relations was not important. So he decided to get rid of his international department and made all his staff redundant and didn't bother to tell any of the twin cities. So none of the twin cities have had any contact with Tbilisi City Council for the last 12 months. But fortunately, twinning, as we all know, was founded after the Second World War, was more about promoting friendship and promoting friendship between individuals in different countries. So the twinning between Bristol and Tbilisi is very much underpinned by the personal relationships that we have developed over the past 30 years. And I've been going to Tbilisi now for 30 years. And the first Georgian I came in contact with to do with the twinning is still at the airport when I go today, in the same way that he was there 30 years ago. So the friendships have been very much long lasting. During the year, we've had all sorts of different activities, from lectures to Georgia barbecue. We have an annual Supra to celebrate the twinning, which is our largest activity. And our next Supra is this Saturday. So there'll be sort of 60 to 100 people very much celebrating with Georgian food, Georgian wine. And we are one of the cities that does have a Georgian choir. So the Bristol Georgian Choir will be entertaining us for the evening. We do try and promote exchanges between our cities. And this year we had a trip to Goria, which is an area that we haven't been to in Georgia before. And next summer we're going to Tusheti, because my wife and I went to Tusheti 2 years ago, and we thought it's got such a unique environment that it was somewhere that we wanted to share with the members of the Bristol Tbilisi Association. So we will be taking a group there next September. One of the things that's very important to the twinning is supporting Georgian students who come to Bristol to study. And I'd say we've got to be very thankful to the Chevening Scholarship Programme, which provides scholarships to Georgian students doing master's degrees. And we're very lucky that we generally have one or two Georgian students being funded through the Chevening programme. This year we've got one who's studying for a master's degree in education. And she's the first Georgian student who's actually brought her family with her. And they'll be coming to the Georgian Supra on Saturday. So we've had a very interesting year. We hope to have a very interesting year for the next 12 months. We do hope that we'll have a Georgian ambassador soon. We've very much enjoyed today's conference. However, I must say, I do like meeting most people in person, and it's very nice when the conference is in person and online, so we can have the best of both worlds. And I hope we're able to go back to that format next year. So I'd like to end by thanking all the organisers and very much thank all the speakers. We've had a very eclectic group of presentations, and I can say I've enjoyed all of them. And I'd very much like to thank Hannah, who provided the technical support, because often these online conferences are a huge challenge to everybody, and she's done very well for us all.
Yes,
and
agreed.
thank you, Tamara, for chairing.
Well, and the other moderators who've been very good as well. Now, do we have Jason Osborne and his screen now? Hello? Hannah, do we know what's happening?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Oh, you're here.
So I'm going to share now. I should be able to share a screen. Now I should be able to do this. Oh God, I want to share a window, don't I? Sorry, I'm still not used to this Teams thing.
Quite a nightmare, I think, but
window.
we'll see.
Okay.
Perhaps we can do a training next time.
Not that one. God. How do I choose which window to share?
Hannah, are you there?
Sorry, yes. So when you click share, it should say screen, window, or tab, and then depending on what system you're on, it will show them in different sorts of ways. If you're on Windows, it'll show when you click window or tab, it should show the list of things you have open on your computer, and you should be able to look at them like that. If you're on a Mac, it comes up with a box which has tab, window, and entire screen side by side, and you can choose, there you go. You're all sorted.
There we are. Brilliant.
Sorry.
Brilliant.
Okay. Continue to stir. Okay. Okay, so hello, I'm talking about the 9th Georgian Film Festival, London Georgian Film Festival, which took place in Cine-le-Mire this October, and this is the 20th year that we've done the film festival. It was started by the British Georgian Society in 2005, and we've done, and this was the 9th edition. And I'll take you through what happened. This is we started on the 30th of September in University College London, and we had the filmmaker Nana Ektemishvili, who is on your right, and the actor Marika Kundadze, who's in the middle, and they did a course which was called a home called Circuit Velo, and the idea was a workshop which had 5 participants who started on the 30th of September and prepared a short film for the 5th of October, 5 days later. So this is her leading the workshop, which began on the 30th. Those are some of the participants in the workshop. Then our first opening film was My Grandmother, Kemi Bedbia, 1929, which is an extraordinary masterpiece, surprisingly unknown in Georgian circles, because most people grew up on Shengalaya and similar directors, but this film was banned for 50 years and is an extraordinary film if you ever get a chance to see it. It's one of the most visually exciting films, particularly of the silent era, and I thoroughly recommend it. Anyway, this is the film we opened with. And then afterwards we had a reception in the Cine-le-Mire, and we did a presentation, or at least Daniel Bird did a presentation on Iliazad, who was a Georgian, went to France. He was actually Georgian with Polish-French father, and he went to France and became one of the most important designers, illustrators, artists, Dadaists in this time. These are a couple more of his designs. This is him with Picasso. Now, this is the next film, which is called Blueberry Dreams, which is a documentary, a very nice documentary by Elena Mikaberidze. It was the London premiere on Friday, on the 4th of October, 3rd of October, and it's about a small family who set up a small farm in near towards Zugdidi, and they were doing blueberries. This is one of their sons, and this is the family. They're two sons, and they showed the sort of the differences between the new generation and the old generation, and the aspirations of both, in a very poetic documentary. Then afterwards, we had a film called Holy Electricity. This was the UK premiere. It's directed by Tato Kotadashvili. It's a very light-humoured look at Georgian life, and the basic premise is that they discover these crosses you can see in the picture on a heap, and then they use them to market them. So it shows a kind of commercial side as well of life, but in a sort of humorous way. This is them dreaming. And then we had a film called Lost Killers, 2000. It was in Cannes, directed by Dito Tsinsadze. It has Lasha Bakwadze in it, who is on your left, I presume. And it's Dito Tsinsadze's first German film, and it's set in the red light district of Mannheim. So it's quite a nice film. And then we had a couple of shorts chosen by Natalia Giugelli, and this was called a film, and this one was called Inhale. And then we had a film called Inner Blooming Springs, which was in Berlin. This is by a director called Tiko Kobiashvili, and this is a group of friends, and the film is about how they get affected by the first protests, which were against the laws that were introduced earlier last year, the foreign agents laws. And this is now Temore, which is by Anka Gudjabidze. It's a very unusual film. It won prizes in Rotterdam. It's about a motorcyclist based on a book, who's an out-of-work actor, but he's a courier delivery and travels around Tbilisi. And it's about a day in the life of. Very interesting film if you've ever got a chance to see it. This is him acting later on in the evening after motorcycling all around Tbilisi. This is them on that evening on the 4th of October, the day of the elections. We had a event about prisoners of conscience. This is Metsia Agmeglebeli, who was, as you know, is still in prison. She was a very interesting journalist, and as her newspaper is in Batumi. Anyway, and then this is a group watching in the library these rather extraordinary 10 films of prisoners of conscience, short films, 3 or 4 minutes, by different directors, about different people who've been imprisoned in Georgia recently. And then we had, you can see actually Natia Zabanadze, who was one of our speakers at the event, and also Lasha Bakwadze and David Vashadze spoke at this event. And also Amnesty International were involved partnered with the festival, and they did a campaign on Andro Chichenadze, who is another actor who has been imprisoned by the government. Then we had a film on the Sunday. This is the classic screening. This is 1929. It's an American talkie by Ruben Mamoulian, who was born in Tbilisi in 1897, obviously of Armenian descent, but he went to Hollywood and became quite an important director. He did Queen Christina amongst his films, Masks of Zorro, and many others. This was his first film, which is an extraordinary film set in New York. And then we had a celebration of Levan Akan's 2 films, and then we danced, which was in 2019, which was quite a big hit throughout the world, and is still on show. This is, and then his more recent film Crossing, which is set in Istanbul mainly, and he was there to answer questions about his films afterwards. This is them looking for the transgender character who is the niece of one of the people in the village who has gone to Istanbul. And this is in Istanbul there. And then the final film was a documentary called Imago, which is by a Chechen director, Deni Omar Petseyev, set in Pankisi Gorge, and is a very extraordinary film. It won various prizes in Cannes. And we were delighted to end the festival with this film. Now, I don't know if I can escape from this. And if anybody's there, maybe that, or that. Anyway, that's it. Next year I'd like to take the film festival internationally, take it to Colombia, to Texas, and do a sort of similar style of about 8 or 9 films plus food and drink, and make it into a sort of a celebration of Georgian culture internationally. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you very, very much. It's amazing. I mean, Georgia is such a tiny country, and yet it was able to produce year after year during the Soviet period, before the Soviet period and after, and still producing extraordinary films. So thank you so much, Jason. I was sorry to miss the festival, but as you know, I spend a lot of time in France with my relative who's sort of not well at all.
Oh dear.
But anyway, that was wonderful, and good luck with your new endeavors. And you'll have to come and tell us about them next year if we're still around, all of us. Now, is Alex Surguladze here or not?
Unfortunately, he said he had to leave at 2:15, and he just asked me to apologize for that and to say that the British Georgian Society, I haven't really got a report in front of me, but to say that Alex is the new chair, and he is, we have a website, British Georgian Society.org, and if you join, you will also get emails about the various events that are coming up soon, and I think it's worth it. Yes. But I'm sorry he's not here.
Did everybody get that? British Georgian Society in one word.
.org.
At a .org.
Yes.
Okay, proceeded with www.
Yes.
So we now have, is Shirley Egley Price here? From Newport. There's something, oh, I see, thank you for in the chat. Is Shirley Egley Price here? Does anybody know if she's here? Oh. Well, we've now got David Gigauri, who promised he would stay around to tell us about the twins of Newcastle and Achaltziche. And usually it's something, oh, there you are, wonderful. And
I am here, and you'll be glad to hear it's a very quick one for many reasons already outlined by my colleagues from other twinning. Can you see the
screen? I just say, if anybody can locate Shirley Egley Price somewhere on this call, I'd be very grateful. Otherwise, if anybody knows about what's going on in Newport and can speak instead of her, let me know. I'll look for you. Sorry, David, please.
No, absolutely. Yeah, this year has been sort of a calm one for events. I see that sort of my colleagues have encountered some of these issues with governors or government as a new thing. In fact, sort of it's been going on with us for quite a bit, because unfortunately in Achaltziche, I don't know if it's just a regional thing. The local government has been changing for the past 5-6 years, every 6 months to a year. So a lot of the times we did have to start anew, and this year has been a little bit sort of problematic as well. But I'll quickly run through it. So in terms of kind of ongoing projects like Newcastle passports, the discussions between all the Newcastles in terms of the smart city, youth, sports, events. So a lot of them are still coordinated, where some things are done kind of simultaneously, but there have been sort of less visits or direct contact as opposed to previous years. One thing to note is David Faulkner, who's kind of spearheaded the whole idea, and he was my initial contact who greatly supported Ahal Tziha joining Newcastle, who we invited to come to Newcastle back in 2010, I think, initially, when Ahal Tziha joined the Newcastle organization. So he was made an honorary citizen of Ahal Tziha before, and now he's been made an honorary freeman at Newcastle upon Tyne. So that's a kind of a separate note. And someone who has been to Ahal Tziha and has been greatly supporting Ahal Tziha's activities within the organization, and it's great to see him get that honor, and us from our side, we've done the same. One of the biggest kind of annual events that we do try to get other Newcastles involved, especially Newcastles in the UK, is St. Shalva's Day in Ahal Tziha, which again this year it happens mid-June. Previously we had performance from Newcastles up on Tyne. We had performance from Newcastles in South Africa come, musicians, dancers. So that again happened this year. On the youth and cultural event, there was kind of a coordinated event across some of the Newcastles, including in Ahal Tziha, where there was a Mother Tongue Day, which focused on Georgian language and New Chatel. They had sort of other Young Citizens Initiative, which was the sort of coordinated initiatives to get young people across culture, arts, and sport. And here were also some of the other ones, again, normally held at the Rabati Castle in Ahal Tziha itself, which was the International Youth Day. So it's nice to see it's nice to see new venues come up. So there was a new kind of cultural investment. There was a new sports center built, but there's still sort of an aim to create all events, especially the ones that do attract international audience or within the Newcastle Association, to actually use the castle. It's been sort of a great venue for that. So we did have mixed martial arts and wrestling tournament, which was which again was quite a great success. And talks and additional initiatives are being added to the Newcastle's passport, which was this initiative that I meant that's been ongoing for 4 or 5 years now, where there's kind of cross Newcastle incentives and perks that people who join this between the Newcastles, where they can access sites for free or join in cultural and other events. I think sort of going forward, there are some interesting initiatives. So one is which is done biannually, which is a Newcastle summit. So this is something we're preparing for. Unfortunately, Ahal Tziha, again, for the reasons of kind of the government and the budget, did not always attend. So my aim on that is to have Ahal Tziha participate in the events which are face-to-face, where we are able to get all the Newcastles, especially the UK and Georgian ones, to participate face-to-face, and again focus a lot on the youth participation as being the more active part of the society, and in fact kind of our hope for future relationships of Georgia and the UK. And the second initiative that we'll start working on hopefully for next year, hopefully there is enough time to do that, is to have a form of sort of British days spearheaded by the 2 Newcastles in UK in Ahal Tziha. So there might be quite a few of you online now who I'll be reaching out to in the next months to on that subject. That's it.
Well, thank you very, very much. Because we were, hoping that you would be able to talk. Newcastle is always fascinating because it extends to the whole kind of planet of Newcastles, which is always impressive. Now, this is the final call for Shirley Egley Price. Is she here? Yes. Do we have a yes here? If not, does anybody have any idea of what's going on in Newport and the Newport Kutaisi link? Do any?
I can say a couple of things, Tamara.
Yes, if you could. I mean, it would. I'd love you to, please.
Okay, just a couple of things. The Newport Kutaisi link is still very active, and they are, unlike us in Tbilisi, where we don't have a sister organisation over in Tbilisi. Newport do have a sister organisation in Kutaisi. So in Kutaisi, they're promoting Wales, and in Newport, they're promoting Kutaisi. One of the big things that they've been promoting over the last year has been links between the University of South Wales and Kutaisi University. Because as you probably know, Kutaisi University has grown greatly in the last few years, and they've been trying to have university-to-university links. And they've been trying to have exchanges of students. So at the moment they have, I think it's 5 Georgian students from Kutaisi are studying at the University of South Wales. So that's about as much as I can tell you at the moment.
But it's wonderful. It's the first story of hope we've had for a long time about these international links that are proving more and more difficult. So thank you very, very much. I don't know whether Nina wants to say anything before I close.
Just really very briefly, thank you very much for everyone who presented today. It was really very interesting. I enjoy this format, very much online person really. And I think that apart from handling the teams, which is usually, well, not usually, but sometimes a problem, I think it was very interesting and the panels were fascinating, and I personally learned a lot. So thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. Can only echo what Nina just said. I have to thank, obviously, Hannah for having helped us. I do think that we don't know what the format will be next year. You all have our details of either Nina or me or Peter or Marka Bakradze to give us a bit of feedback. I personally was very moved that we had this huge spread from Australia, the United States, Geneva, Tbilisi and Bristol and all over the place, London, of course, which was amazing. I was also very moved that we were able to have a disabled person in the form of Professor Jordania when he spoke, although he has advanced Parkinson's. It was very moving that technology could overcome it and that our Georgian Studies Day was part of it. I think that was very good. I do think if we do opt to have online next year, I think it would be courteous for all of us if we ask the speakers to have a kind of practice online before, perhaps on 2 occasions. If Hannah is around, perhaps it should be her, so that we are well prepared for this. I did do a small session with her and found it useful. That I think we would have to do. Whether we have it as a hybrid meeting next year, we will have to see. A lot depends on what kind of Georgian embassy we have, since it always depends to a certain extent on them, at least to bring the wine at the end. And if not, we will have to see. I think the main thing is that I do get the impression that you would like us to go to at least 40, which means next year and the year after. If that is true, that is wonderful. I do want to thank Maka Bakradze yet again, because she is the person who put in so much effort. And it is very rare that, in fact, I was sent these biographies of the people I was presenting in advance, which was almost unheard of in Georgian studies. They're usually at the coffee before the session begins. You know, I'm running around asking, can I say something about you if you don't know them already? And so this was, and it was just perfection from her. And I do think we owe her a big voice of thanks. And to Peter Lydiard, he was very much part of our activity and our planning before he had his operation. And we do thank him very much for attending. And of course, our new bridge, Nina Porakishvili, she's actually in Georgia, which is really lovely.
There are so many things I've been in my life, but bridge for the first time, which is nice.
You're a wonderful bridge. And like most Georgians they're a bridge between two countries. So I want to thank everybody. If anybody wants to stay for a minute to talk, I don't know, since we've got this open channel. Otherwise, shall we close down?
Can I say something first?
Oh, of course you may.
I'm still on here.
Yay!
It's traditionally, at this point, for me to thank you in particular, Tamara, because without your initial input to all of this, we wouldn't be doing Studies Day. So I wanted to thank you, but I also wanted to thank particularly a very hard-working committee for this GSD. And you already highlighted Maka, and she has been superb, as you've said, in organising. I'd also like to thank, of course, Nina Porakishvili, because she has been working. Yes, the bridge. I should have said yes. Like to thank the bridge for help for all of this, and I think that together with Hannah, who has been really wonderful in helping setting up the day and organising it and helping in trying to get people in who aren't able to. She certainly helped me a lot 2 or 3 days ago in organising getting into into teams. So again, I'd like to thank the committee meeting, all of you who've attended, and so thank you again. And I do hope that we will have a Georgian Studies Day. Is it number 33 we said, or 34?
It was 38 apparently.
Oh, 38. Wow.
And 40.
Oh gosh. Yes. Okay. So yes. So look forward to the next one, and I'm sure we will already be planning the themes and so on by about May next year or earlier. Next year. So thank you again, and hope you have have a good day for the rest of the day. So thank you again, Tamara, and the committee.
Thank you, Peter.
Peter, and everybody who's written in the chat. I'm afraid to say every time I tried to look in the chat, I lost something. So whatever you've said in the chat, if there's any way you could write it to us. I've seen there's some thanks and things that would be lovely to have. And I think we
Derek wanted to say something, Tamara.
Okay, yes, Derek. Derek, you're muted.
Yeah, no, I didn't have anything else to say.
Okay, sorry, I
Okay.
thought you were.
So yes, it would be nice, and of course, to the University of what's that? I just wanted to say we owe both universities as institutions, the University of Georgia and the University of Westminster. I don't think Andrew or anybody are around anymore, but to thank both universities for making this bridge possible. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much. See you next year. Bye.
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 Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Oh, what's happened? It's gone. It's gone. It's gone.